What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. So today I've got a little bit of a different video and a very important one. So in the background we've got some MX vs ATV Legends gameplay of the new SX World Tour maps that were released the other day. I'll talk about those in a sec. However, the purpose of today's video is essentially MX vs ATV Legends needs our help. So the community manager for Rainbow Studios reached out to me whilst I was away. Said he's a viewer of the channel, he watches MX bike stuff, and he knows that Legends isn't my favourite game, let's say. So ideally, what he wants to know is, as a community, this is more on the sim side of things, so UMX simulator players, UMX bikes players, track AR players maybe. What is it that you need Legends to improve upon to make it a more playable game for you? So I sat down as soon as I got home from being away. I put about maybe 2 hours into the game just to learn the physics a little bit more. I rode a fully upgraded RM450, so the bike should feel as good as it possibly can do. And I wrote down a few things just within those 2 hours that I noticed whilst playing the game. Well, some of them are just quality of life improvements, and then also some actual physics changes or traction changes, whatever it might be, that I think will really help improve the game overall, and not only retain an audience but also entice some of you more simulator-esque players into the game. So I do want to say, before I get into all of my points, I would be very interested to know your opinions in the comments as well. Please do only comment if you've played the most recent build of the game, because I think from the release date to now they've made leaps and bounds. Like, they've made so many improvements. So I thought the game was a lost cause upon release, but playing the more recent builds and spending a little bit more time on it with fully upgraded bikes, dare I say, I was actually having some fun. So first of all, just upon loading the game, some little bugs here and there, things like the goggles not having straps on them when you're previewing them. They've got them when you're in the game and playing, but when you're in the shop and purchasing and things like that, have no goggle straps. Just weird little things. Things like if you buy aftermarket parts, so suspension, all of the logos are upside down on the forks, and just really small things that, whilst they don't impact the gameplay, they just make a difference in the feel of the overall product and making it more polished. Now, I'm going to go through the things I've written down here whilst playing gameplay wise, and then one or two things at the very end that I might just be spitballing about, maybe would never come to fruition, but a guy can dream. So first of all, the one thing that has been improved upon, but I still think could do with a lot of fixes, is when you're steering in this game, even with full traction upgrades and things like that, the bike always feels maybe disconnected, could be the right word, from the ground. I'm not sure why, but you can see, especially in first person, you can see how sharp the front end's turning, but the bike doesn't turn to reflect that. It's like you're always pushing the front end around the corner. It never fully digs in and turns how you want it to turn. So a little bit more work on that is probably the biggest thing in my opinion. I think that would change all aspects of the gameplay. You know, it would make the corners even easier to then in turn make you carry more speed, to hit the jumps easier, and so on and so forth. Next up, I know there's been a lot of work going into audio issues. Here on the RM450, I noticed when I went above a certain speed, especially here on this straight that I'm going along, the engine noise would kind of cut in and out, so some more little bugs there. And I found that the engine doesn't really rev in relation to what you're doing. So if I'm in the air and I start spamming right trigger to accelerate, the bike doesn't then spam rev as well. It doesn't correlate to your inputs. So those are a few little things that might be nice to help the immersion side of things and make you feel like you're more in control of what the bike's doing. In first person as well, I'm not sure if anyone else has mentioned this, I've not seen it mentioned in any other videos that I've done. It'd be nice to have some more first person customization options. Now that is FOV, so you can see more, because I feel like there's a very low FOV on the standard first person camera, and then similar to MX Simulator or similar to MX Bikes, where you can adjust the height, so how high up or down the camera is in first person, and then the tilt as well, whether you want your head tilted down slightly, look up slightly, so maybe you can see further in the distance. And again, nice little quality of life thing that the people that play in predominantly first person, they can mess around with more and get some more enjoyment out of it. I've noticed that in regards to whips, first of all, a fully upgraded bike makes whips 10 times better than they were. I'm not sure how I made it this far with not having the proper whip physics, but I think the don't know the word for it. I want to say like the rear wheel gyro feels off. So when you whip IRL and you throw it out sideways, you get more of a like a curve for the back end coming back round naturally. I feel like in this game the back end steps out and then it comes straight back down the same way. There's no curvature to it at all. So it feels like you're very stiff in the air, and it's very, very weird with how you move your analog sticks to even get the bike to act how you want it to. I think that could do with a little bit of fine tuning there. Some more audio issues is the sound of the wheels just riding on the ground, as well as the sound of your bike impacting the ground on a heavy landing. I feel like they're so loud, like it actually overtakes the sound of the engine sometimes, which can be a little bit off-putting, so hopefully that could be an easy fix. I know they did actually increase that originally, but I think we need like a happy medium in lowering it a little bit. More customization in terms of controls would be massive for me. So I myself, on a PlayStation controller, I usually use triangle to shift up and shift down, sorry, on MX bikes and MX Sim. Now I've put thousands of hours into those games combined, so to have the limited option on Legends to only use square and circle, or to click down the two sticks, is a little bit of a pain in the bum, if I'm being completely honest. So I'd love to have some more customization in regards to the controllers, and just like old games, more. I'm trying to think. I can't think of a game off the top of my head that allows it, but just select the command you want to do. So if I want to change my shift up button to triangle, I press on the shift up, I press triangle, boom, it's bound. I can have it as whatever I want it to be. And again, just terms of quality of life, ease of access, and it'll just make me feel so much more comfortable on the game. The rider positioning, I've always found it's always been a little bit scrunched up. You can see right here, he's kind of arse towards the back of the seat, crouched right down, leaning forwards, elbows really bent. It would be nice to have a much more natural riding position, one that looks a little bit more attacking rather than, it almost looks lazy with how he's sat, especially in the corners. The leg doesn't even really come out and forwards, it just falls down to the side. And just looking at some real life pictures or videos, as I'm sure all of the developers of this game have done to even build a motocross game in the first place, it would just be really, really nice to have the rider movements change ever so slightly to look a little bit more realistic. I found that casing jumps, and not just casing jumps, sorry, so impacting any jump, whether it's a double or stepping on or off a tabletop or even a whoop section, I feel like every time your wheels hit the ground, it robs you of so much speed, and it makes some rhythm sections almost impossible. And if you mess up one tiny little thing, that's your whole rhythm section's gone. Now, I know obviously that is like a risk-reward thing, and it causes you to ride a lot more precise and downside things perfectly, but it's not trying to be a simulation game. It is still trying to be an arcade game at the end of the day, and it's so frustrating trying to go through a rhythm section and you're just doubling your way through, or casing or bouncing your way through rhythm sections, because I feel like as well the acceleration is so slow you can't really get that momentum back. Whereas in real life, if a 450 cases a rhythm section, all they have to do is roll over the backside of it, seat bounce out of it, and you're back into a rhythm again. You know, you're doubling and tripling again really easily. So I'd just like a little bit more either acceleration or the jumps just not to rob you as much speed as they do currently. Sand. There's sand on this track that you saw in the background. It might be disappearing off the screen in a second. I feel like the bike gets sapped of so much speed through sand, which, fair enough, if it's really fine sand in real life, 100% that's realistic. Again, it's an arcade game. Let us have a little bit more momentum behind us, because you saw the few laps that I done on that sand track just then were very painful when I got to that part. And going back to my last video that I done on Legends as well, actually, on, oh god, what track was it? It wasn't Miltville. Oh, it's going to really annoy me. Maybe it was Millville. Ignore me. You go watch it. Southwick. Never mind. I'm being an idiot. Southwick. I couldn't move. I couldn't turn. It felt awful. So working on the sand traction would be massive, in my opinion. And then the last note that I've got on here, actually, which is more of like a wish list thing, I'm not sure how well it would work, is an in-game track editor. Now, I know the Monster Energy Supercross games have this. Obviously, MX Simulator has it, really old game. But whether it's in-game or a separate program, I think it would be really nice to have an in-game track editor. And you can upload them tracks to the workshop, people can download them, try them out. And I think that would keep people coming back to the game time and time again and give it a longer lifespan. That's just my opinion on the matter. I think that would just help the game's longevity. Now, I don't know when the next MX vs ATV game's going to come out. I have absolutely no idea. But having emailed back and forth with the community manager of Rainbow, it looks like they've accepted that this game is going to be an ongoing project, and they're going to continuously work on the game, not just kind of abandon it and leave it as it is. They kind of want to constantly improve upon it as the year goes on. And to be honest, he seems like such a nice guy, like really genuine, not just another corporate suit that just wants people to buy DLC and move on and that's it. Looks like he's taken an active interest into not only Legends but other games, and wants the other communities, the more let's just say the more tryhard guys, the more MX Simulator, MX Bikes-esque type people, what do we want out of this game to make it our more casual arcadey go-to game? And that's where you guys come in. I'd absolutely love to see your guys' feedback in the comments. More so the people that have played it recently. If you've not played it, if you've still got it installed, or if you haven't refunded it or anything like that after your first hour or two, hop on it again, update it, play some of the new tracks if you have them already, and just let me know how the game feels to you. What do you want out of it? How can it improve? Because I had a lot more fun playing these newly released tracks than I have done any other time loading this game. And it's a bit weird actually, because I had more fun playing these fantasy custom tracks than I did the replica AMA tracks in the last video. Now I think that shows that for an arcade game, I think you need more of arcadey type tracks, because the track design is really, really good. They've done a very, very good job on the environment. Obviously in first person you can see here the game looks incredible. It's actually it's visually stunning. I love it so much. But yeah, with a few physics tweaks here and there and some quality of life stuff, I think it could become something really, really, really good. So the community manager does want me to email back with my thoughts on how the game can improve and such. He's probably going to watch this video as well at some point, but before I send that email out, I want your guys' opinion as well, because I'm just one man at the end of the day, and obviously I've got my likes and dislikes. Other people may agree or disagree with the points I've made in this video. I do want to say, before I finish the video off, I'm sorry that I sound weird, because I've noticed my voice has been going over the last day or two, so I do apologise for that. But please do comment down below why you're not playing this game anymore, if you're not, if you really do want it to succeed like I do, because there's something there, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's keeping me hopeful, and hope is an amazing thing. Let me know how you think the game can improve. If there's anything that I've missed off this list, please do let me know. I'll be more than happy to see it. As I said, I'm only playing for about 2 hours or so, and these are the main things that I noticed. But I think that'll do it from me. If you guys have enjoyed, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'd really, really appreciate it. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever it is you're up to. Until I catch you in the next video, peace.